Obviously, in this panel, I would be I would say the most partial and the most subjective person to say how important art and culture is for peace and for reconciliation. I would comment on a few examples, personal examples, and also some others. I would start by some other symbol. When Rostropovich played cello when the wall came down, that was a very good symbol of what music and art can suddenly give a very instant proof on an emotional way, worldwide, universal way of what reconciliation and peace means. My mother used to be a great figure in the French resistance in the Second World War, and she told me that when she was in a concentration camp, suddenly in the most desperate situation they were in, somebody starts singing and they found somewhere a value, and it changed instantly the whole mood of the whole camp, with lots of people who would survive the following day. It means that when you have nothing left, imagination, culture is the last cement of civilization. And on a personal level, when I been appointed as a Goodwill Ambassador 20 years ago by Federico Mayor, few years later, a terrorist act happened in Luxor, in Egypt, and he asked me to think about what could be done in Egypt to try to restore and to restore also the confidence of the Egyptians, but also of the people vis-à-vis Egypt. And then I went there and we discussed with lots of different artists and people, and then we went with this idea of celebrating the millennium in front of the pyramid in days where Egypt was quite hot in terms of risk and terrorism, to actually soothe the scars of the country, and also to restore confidence in their own roots. That even as an artist, if you are an outsider of one country or one culture, you can actually, by bringing music, bringing arts, bringing any kind of mode of expression, transcend actually the problems, the conflicts. Having said that, cultures could be also a source of conflicts, as we learned this morning. It's only by also building kind of bridges as an artist, also trying to create kind of bridges with other artists of other communities, to try to mix styles of music, of cinema, of craftsmanship, of literature, of painting. The example you said with this orchestra by David Barenboim, mixing Palestinians and Jewish artists, beyond what could be perceived somehow as a gimmick, is actually very important, not only in a symbolic way, but in day-to-day life for those communities, to give hopes, and also, probably also to share these kind of things with the audience. As you said, I played in my life, and I feel very privileged to have played in front of massive audience. And I always perceived the kind that in those moments, everybody is equal. Firstly, people on stage and in the audience, but also beyond generations, beyond social classes, beyond religions, beliefs. And suddenly people are just equal in sharing emotions. And in my opinion, there is a big difference between being international, the globalization, and being universal. And artists have that very specific quality to dig deep in their own gardens, to be understood and felt by the Brazilian, the Chinese, the Eskimo, and African, and to share common values. We're all equal in front of Aboriginal design, in front of Beethoven symphony, in front of a Picasso, a Chinese pagoda, and these are giving also hopes and trust in our future.
I just want to put one question to you very briefly, because I want to get to Emmanuel, because we with the other ones. But do artists, because Michel, they have such huge followings, do artists, not just in music, but in art, in publishing, in cinema, do they have a responsibility, do you think, to try and promote some kind of peace, reconciliation, understanding, culture?
I think you have a responsibility when you receive so much from people to give back, and to give back as much as you can in terms of what you do and how you do it, and where you perform, how you deliver your message, whatever it is. But I would like also to add something about culture. I mean, culture is not an abstract notion. It's not. It's also linked with the idea of intellectual property. The fact that it's tangible, it's man-made. It's not. It's an expression of where society is at a given time, and culture is fragile, also on an economical way, because I mean, facing the digital world. I mean, the notion of author rights, how to survive with your cinema, with your painting, with your art. You have to preserve the continuation of the expression to prevent it from extinction by giving it a sustainable economy. And it's true for developed countries facing the new giants such as Google, for instance, but it's also true for more underdeveloped countries. When you think that lots of ethnies have absolute brilliant secrets and know-how about how to cure with plants, how to create some special design and to do some music, and some of them are not recognizing this as an individual activity, but as something that should be perceived in a collective way. And this allows the modern world to somehow steal a lot of music, sounds, graphics, patterns, and these would be very easily sources of money and richness for those countries. And I think the idea of intellectual property placed into this wider financial economy would help a lot of countries to recognize that the creation has a value. And I was talking about the Aboriginal, for instance, design of patterns, or African patterns. They are stolen by the fashion world, by advertising, and this should be paid, recognized economically and financially. And I think, as an artist, I try also to help this in days where the notion of intellectual property is more and more fragilized.
Okay, sustainable culture. That's right.